And we are live. Welcome to The Real Raw, a place where we get to see and experience how influence is a superpower. The Real Raw offers us the chance to have a microphone and a stage on ecosystems, make more money in less time with more magic, thanks to Sean, and the use of the formula, which he has been curating for over 23 years. Sean Callagy is an entrepreneur, a national speaker, a philanthropist, one of America's top trial attorneys, and is the chief visionary officer at Unblinded. And though he is blind, he's going to, in integrity, unblind us through micro distinctions and see how we can all go from hello to yes in any role that we play in life. And so us leaders can influence leaders and make the world a more heart-centered and amazing place. So welcome, Sean.
Well, thank you for all that. But we know what I've been unblinded to is that Barbara throws a better roundhouse kick and side kick than Conor McGregor. But we'll come back to that later. Vivian with Amazing Rock Stars and what's happening.
This is very exciting. We have Jake Clendening, and he is the CEO with Keller Williams Realty in Northern Colorado. And he's a professional coach, and his mission is to partner and guide leaders to abundance and opportunity for themselves. He starts by being the example in living free, so his actions inspire others. So welcome, Jake.
Thank you, Vivian. I'm awesome, Sean. It's great to see you again. And I agree. We just need to hire Vivian to introduce us coming into all the rooms because it just makes you feel really good.
I think we do. And Jake, what's a fun fact about you, brother?
Oh, man. Fun fact about me. Something probably very few people know and probably very few people knows a thing is I'm a professional elk caller. So I've been
a professional elk caller?
Elk caller, yes. It's
Nice.
a thing. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's not a big thing, but it's a thing.
It is definitely a thing. Like Jackson Hole, Wyoming is calling for you. Like Jackson Hole needs you, brother.
A little bit.
So Jake, if you stop changing the world of like real estate, coaching people to amazing success, you could like hang out in Jackson Hole. When people come off the airplane, you can call the Elks so they get a quick view as they're heading through like, the airport to the town of Jackson. I think that that screams as something that's necessary.
Amen, brother. I'm in it.
All right. Thanks, Jake. Well, thanks for being here, brother. Yes, Vivian, not only do we have Jake, his brilliance and his elk calling, but we also have
Eric Sorensen, and Eric's marketing firm generated over $65 million in revenue before selling it in 2016.
Well, what's up,
Currently,
brother?
he owns and operates a marketing and automation company based in Houston, Texas. And he just launched a new venture to create masterminds and coaching for entrepreneurs and businesses to learn how to effectively market themselves. Welcome, Jake. Eric.
Eric, hey, close. Hello, everybody. Good to be here. I just learned about this group just 30 minutes ago, so this is kind of exciting to find out what you're all about and be a part of it. So,
Eric, where and how did you find out about this, and like from who and where are you coming from?
I actually found out from a close friend who connected me with Laura Lee, and she actually asked me if I would be on today, and I dropped everything. I said, "Let's do it." It's fun to do something like this. It sounds exciting. So,
well, appreciate it, Eric, and welcome. And a quick fun fact about yourself.
Fun fact, might shock some of you. I actually have 10 kids, but before you get too shocked, we're a blended family. We have 4 and 4 and 2 together. So from ages 20 to 2 and almost everything in between. So when it talks about kids, we were talking earlier before we started about kids and about devices and things. We had to become a pro at all of that kind of stuff to make sure that we're managing it. But we actually have amazing kids. They're all doing really great things, several in college, others serving humanitarian missions and things overseas and in the country. So really exciting.
So like Brady Bunch has nothing on you, Eric.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not.
And I'm sure that's not the first time you've heard that.
No, it's not. But I'll tell you what, it is as hard as everybody says it is, that's for sure. And then that and running businesses at the same time makes everything more challenging. So work-life balance is critically important, at least for me.
Yeah. And if you're going to share with people like the key distinction, the most common misunderstanding that people would have about how to create and accelerate their business and marketing, like what would you share?
To accelerate their business and marketing?
Yeah.
It's all just comes down to the fundamentals. I mean, we always skip over the fundamentals thinking that the fundamentals are important, but we think about doing and making things happen and placing ad campaigns and building these great marketing campaigns. But it really starts with clarity, understanding exactly what you want. And without that, like nothing else matters, exactly what you want. And then you can start to talk about exactly who you're going after and exactly what your product is, what your service is, and you can build from there. but you need to spend 80% of your time in the planning and only 20% of your time in the execution when it comes to marketing, because it's really all about that. Fundamentals first.
Awesome, brother. Well, thank you so much for being here. Excited to have you.
And
you.
Sean, you know what he just became aware to? The fact that he's giving us all $100.
That's only
For
if I'm
what?
a contestant.
Because that's what happens to every new contestant, right? Isn't that
Yes, that is true. Yes, unquestionably.
Thank you.
Unquestionably.
Monthly.
Monthly.
For subscriptions now. All right.
There we go.
By
So-
10, you don't have to eat. It's all good.
Yeah, all good, Eric. So, Vivian, thank you. And who's up next?
We have Jim Alvino, or is it Alvino?
Alvino.
Alvino.
Alvino. Yeah.
Founder, president of Monetize Your Niche, helping entrepreneurs pursue their passion for profit. He's an award-winning educational journalist, an international business coach. He's a speaker trainer, author and radio host, author of Explorer's Guide to the Law of Attraction. And he's a certified Law of Attraction trainer.
Jim, welcome, sir. How are you?
Nice to be here.
Yeah, appreciate you. And Jim, where are you coming from today?
Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Super
My wife
cool.
and I moved here 3 months ago.
Very nice. And Jim, like speaking of the law of attraction, right? How would you, in its simplest form, share in a sentence or two what the law of attraction is?
Okay. Law of attraction means giving attention, energy, and focus to what you want. Have great clarity about that. Create a plan to execute and pursue what you want, and essentially allow it to happen.
Yeah. So let's step into that distinction, right? Because I think my hallucination is that sometimes people sort of like end up on two ends of the spectrum. There's this arduousness about the dynamic of acceleration and creation, right? And I would think that that might tip outside of the bounds of what you'd be saying, and would there be an over attachment to perhaps an outcome, not trusting energy and the law of attraction? And on the one side, on the other side, I think sometimes people may tend to overly trust in the lack of a need to plan and take action, and that things will sort of just occur. Am I right? Are we aligned? Like, where do you stand on the balancing of those dynamics? Because I think you articulated so beautifully that it feels like, yes, both of those sides would fall outside of the prism that you just shared, but I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly.
Actually, attraction is endorsed by action, number one. Attraction is endorsed by action. We can't, I think the movie The Secret gave the impression that you could just sit back and wish for something and it would fall into your lap.
Air fist bump, air fist bump, air fist bump.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And that's really not the way it happens. But there is an aspect of it, Sean, which is complete surrender in the sense. I'm a recent certified practitioner of the Hawaiian problem-solving method, Ho'oponopono. That is the extreme. I see somebody else doing the Ho'oponopono. That is really the extreme, allowing the divine to manifest through you. And our job is to simply clean out all the garbage. And once we clean out all the garbage, the programs, the shared memories, what Dr. Hewlin calls memories, which are programs that we actually contract by virtue of living. Once we clear that, we open ourselves up to divine inspiration. So there are multiple sides to this, You can have intentions. Joe Vitale, for one, and Wayne Dyer and others really stress the importance of intentions. And then Joe came to see, wow, I spent all this time teaching about intentions, and intentions isn't where it's at. Where it's at is getting clear and clean and letting the divine come through and then acting on it.
Awesome. Jim, it's a pleasure. And how about a fun fact about you?
Couple fun facts. I used to teach meditation in the federal prison systems in California.
Wow.
That was pretty cool. And my wife and I, for about 10 years, competed, I put that in quotes, competed in the Pikes Peak Half Marathon, which is, the summit is at 14,110 feet. So you're sucking for air by the time you get up there. But
Boom. every day. This is such a gift, such amazing people like yourself, Jake, Eric, Jim. It's amazing. But Jim, thank you for being here. And Vivian, there's still more amazing people.
So awesome. We have Bob Lovinger in the house. And he was a contestant the last time, but he's a judge today. Bob is an electrical engineer by trade, but he turned to consumer financing and financial services and is now an industry expert. He is the founder and owner of FlexBuy, which provides businesses of all ages, sizes, and industries with customer financing. He actively contributes to various publications and podcasts, offering insights on how businesses can grow by utilizing a buy now, pay later strategy to drive prospects and capture sales previously unrealized. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you, Vivian. Nice to be here again.
Bob, welcome back, brother.
Thank you.
And how about sharing a fun fact again for the amazing, fine folks here in the audience?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's fun, but it's important for me. I'm a Master University graduate of Tony Robbins. I did that over 20 years ago, and it changed my life. And it was just a great experience, and I've used it for the last 20-something years.
That is certainly a fun fact, and Mr. Robbins has had an absolutely incredible impact on the world for sure, and that is. So congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
All right. And Vivian, we finally, right, have all this awesome masculinity. Now we have some like feminine energy, but be careful because you might get your head taken off. So Vivian, who else we have here?
Well, I was just going around and changing the aura into the feminine aura that's here now. Barbara von Schmeling. She is the co-owner of Victory Martial Arts. She is a 19 times Taekwondo world champion and founder of Feminine Freedom. Welcome, Barbara.
Barbara, what's up? How are you?
Hi, Sean. How are you?
Good. So, Barbara, one of my favorite Barbara moments is we had the privilege of being together at Tony Robbins' house in Florida, and Tony brought in Conor McGregor. And so we were chatting, people taking pictures with Conor, and Barbara, was it a side kick or a roundhouse kick, Barbara, that you like?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think this is absolutely correct that Barbara's form in her roundhouse kick beat Conor's. So I'm going with Barbara in a match in the UFC between Conor McGregor and Barbara. I take Barbara.
You're going to lose money.
No, I'm kidding, Barbara. Conor's amazing and you're amazing. How is Sergio, Barbara's beautiful husband, partner in this incredible world of impact they're having in martial arts? How's Sergio doing?
He's good. He's amazing. I think he was a judge a few weeks ago.
He was. We had a lot of fun. Yeah. So he's amazing. So thank you, Barbara, for being here. And everybody, how about a fun fact, Barbara?
Fun fact. Maybe not too much fun, but I was going to school to be an engineer. Bob, my dad is an electrical engineer. So I was going to school for civil engineering. And I decided to drop it to become an entrepreneur, open my own martial arts school, go to school for physical education and to learn that side of the art. And then I met Sergio in a martial arts tournament and I ended up moving here. I had a school in Brazil and then moved here and he already had some schools and that's Victory.
Yeah. How many schools do you guys have now?
Now we have 42. We actually just closed 5 of them.
Obviously with the pandemic, but you guys are up around 50, right? And I'm sure you'll grow again with the pandemic.
So now we're down to 42. But we're good.
You're amazing. Well, thank you for being here, Barbara. And Vivian, as if that wasn't enough, we also have an amazing role player.
Get this though, Barbara was just telling us before you came in earlier that she has a butterfly garden. I think that's a cool fact.
That is a cool fact. And Barbara also teaches other courses as well, Barbara, correct?
Correct. Yes, I actually found a lot of joy in connecting deeply to my feminine through movement, and then I became a teacher and I do like workshops and things like that for women right now. It's I love it.
Barbara's got a lot of cool stuff going on. So amazing, Barbara. Thank you for being here. And Vivian, we have an amazing role player.
We have an amazing part that I'm seeing right now, and that's Anil Gupta. This is Drew. He overcame suicide in 2008. That's heavy. And has since then formulated the happiness formula. Spoken on Fox News, Harvard, Sky TV, TEDx. He's the author of the best-selling book, Immediate Happiness, and he founded the Happiness Score. Anil's Perfect Partner Program also focuses on removing the blockages that prevent people living fulfilled lives in just a matter of hours. Welcome, Anil.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here, brother. Welcome back. And
My
it's been
pleasure.
fun sharing these virtual rooms and platforms together with you. And like, how are you?
I'm amazing. You know, you have such a nice group of people today. Very playful. I love that.
Yes, we've been rising the level. This is about our somewhere in the 110th episode of The Real Raw since Corona hit. This was, for those of you that like are brand new to this, certainly I think Eric said he is, that we launched this. I launched this, created it, unblinded, after we had our awesome event in January with 1,500 people there, because it's like, hey, like there's a pandemic happening and there's a lot of beautiful ways that people share their information and content. But what would it be if we created, what's the right word? Yes, experiential, an experiential dynamic for people to connect, to accelerate, and really to show what we're all about, that influence is a superpower. It's present here. You know, brief background to like just sharpen listening. I've had the privilege of building multiple successful businesses. I own a 100-person law firm right now, about 125 people. We had the unique privilege of laying nobody off during this pandemic through processes that make sense and experiential marketing and other dynamics. I've had the privilege of having 2 top 100 national jury verdicts, and we've built multiple successful training and development companies. And all of that is present as we're here on The Real Raw. And that's what we're here to unlock, is like influence a superpower. And what Anil is so graciously offered to do as the role player is he's here today so Jake and Eric can go from hello to yes on anything that matters to them in the world. And it's not necessarily a sale. It could be a joint venture. It could be just, hey, could I have a longer meeting with you? Hey, it's like, I have a book, I have a thought. Would you contribute to my charity? It's some yes that matters to people in the world. And what they're courageously and graciously doing is unlocking how all this works, the science of human influence. And some of those jury verdicts I mentioned to you earlier, we were in cases where we had a $0 offer going to trial, that we had some of the top trial consulting firms in the world, people that worked on the OJ case that these people work with. And what they were telling us was like, you can't get the truth out. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's unacceptable. You guys are the best in the world. We paid you $250,000 and you're telling us that we can't get the truth out? And we did. They said settle for $1 million. We had a $27 million verdict, a $33 million verdict in those cases because of micro distinctions to unlock and stack the unfolding of truth and integrity-based heart-centered influence. And that's what we're going to play with for a little bit, for like an hour today. And less, this first section was acknowledgement, validation, connection, which is all a part of the rapport building and relationship development process, which has been on display as we've acknowledged and validated all these great people. So Anil is ready to be anybody you want him to be in the world, including his amazing self. So with that said, right, Eric, since it's your first time in these parts, you're going to guess whether I have a 1 or a 2, if you would be so kind, a 1 or a 2 under the table.
2.
It is a 2. You have won the toss. You can go first or second. What is your preference in round 1? It's 2 rounds of 3 minutes. Would you like to go first or second in round 1?
Let's go second.
All right. Jake, who would you like Anil to be?
You know, I would love for Anil to be Anil, just himself as a business owner and an author, looking to create greater distinction and just really greater notice of where his book is going to get out there, you know, move his publishing forward.
Awesome. And so what we're going to do is, judges, we're going to have 2 rounds. It's 1 conversation, just 1. And Anil is going to have to take a quick phone call as a quick break in the middle of it. You don't have to set up a second call. He's going to be like, hey, Jake, I'll be right back. Right? I'm going to pause. And judges, what we're looking for in this first round is the opening of listening. How deeply in a heart-centered way, is like heart-to-heart connection or head-to-head connection, is the listening opening in this first round, and is something at stake, right? And so for you, the participants, Jake and Eric, like, don't stress, don't obsess, just do what you normally do. And we're just kind of observing how listening opens, how connected that Anil is feeling, right? In the second round, that's where we move into like who you are, what your services are, how you go to yes. Like that's what you'll be judged on, but do it any way that you see fit. Round 1 is all about openness of listening, depth of connection, something at stake. Round 2 is then about like how you share your story, your product, your services, what you are, how you do it, and whether or not Anil sees his future in you being in his life and solving that challenge and moving to a yes. That's what it's all about. Jake, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. So it's going to be 3 minutes. I'm going to give you a 30-second warning. Please take us in. Oh, by the way, Jake, it's up to you. Is this something like you bumped into Anil? You have a scheduled call with him? You know, what's the scenario?
We bumped into at a previous class. He was at a one thing seminar. We just run into each other and agreed that we'd have a conversation.
Very cool. All right. So just take it from ring, ring. Anil, you could say hello and let's go from there.
Hey, Jake,
great.
how are you?
Hey, great, Anil. It's very good today. How are you?
Amazing, thank you.
Awesome. Hey, I know that we met at that one thing seminar and we talked about following up, and I want to make sure that we did that because I felt a really good connection with you, and I was really fascinated by what you wanted to do with your book and moving it forward. Is now a good time to talk?
Absolutely perfect.
Awesome. I know you've got another call here in about 3 minutes, so I want to make sure we value your time. So tell me something that's really, I'm really excited about your book and what you're doing. So tell me what your vision is. What are you trying to do with it?
Really, I want to increase people's awareness. When we were born, we were never given a manual, and this book is not really a book, it's a manual. And it would help so many people, and I wish that they could just use the tools inside that book to change their lives.
That's amazing, man. I like that you refer to it as a manual. Why do you refer to it as a manual? Why do you think that's true?
You see, because we were never given the tools to be human. We have to work it out. So, when you buy a car, you get a manual. When you buy a TV, you get a manual. But when we were born, we have to learn the hard way. And this book is a manual on how human beings behave, what makes us tick, what makes us upset, why we react, why we sabotage, how we talk even. And it's an important part that would speed track anyone's life.
That's amazing. Why is it important to you to get this material out to folks?
Honestly, when I was young, I didn't know what to do. I was a coconut. You know what a coconut is?
Tell me more about that.
Okay, so I'd go to school and I'd be white because there were no brown kids, and I'd come home and I'd be brown. So on the outside, I was brown. On the inside, I was white. And I just didn't know. I didn't have any tools. And I wished I had tools, but I didn't have any.
So in wishing that you had those tools, you ended up creating the manual and creating those tools that you wish you had, and it feels like you really want to share your message with the rest of the world.
Yeah, and honestly, I wasted so many years of my life not knowing how to talk to people, respond to them. I held back some emotions personally that I could have benefited from.
I can feel where you are with that. So, and again, I want to respect your time today. So would it be okay for us to set up a longer call? Because I'd really like to dig into this a little bit deeper and see if there's something that we can do to help you really advance your cause to get that manual out to more people. Would that be okay?
It would be more than okay. I sense that, you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I feel a real connection there, and I'd really like to do that. So it's next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Is that a good time for you?
Sure. I'll make time for you.
You'll make time. So how about I just want to make sure I keep it to 30 minutes because I want to respect your time. Would that be cool?
That's perfect. Thank you.
It's been really inspirational talking to you today. Thanks, man.
All right. Excellent, sir. How did that feel for you?
Which one, Neil or me?
You, Jake.
It felt good. It was very conversational. And Neil is super easy to talk to. And it was a conversation that was absolutely true for him in where it was going. So it was I wanted to dig deeper. I didn't want to schedule another call and move forward, or talk about going on. I was ready to just keep going on it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And Anil, if you had one word for how that felt, that connection with Jake, what would that word be?
I felt listened to.
Awesome. All right. Eric, do you have any questions?
No.
All right. And who would you like Anil to be?
Okay, so Anil, obviously he's an author. He has now published a sequel to his new book, and he is ready to the point where he's almost finalized it, and he's ready to promote the next chapter of the journey in his authorship. And so he's looking for, he was referred to our firm as one that can help promote his book and create a brand for the next chapter of his life, which is, of course, the foundation is this next book.
Awesome. All right. Please take us in. You have 3 minutes. I'll give you a 30-second warning. And remember, there's 2 halves to the conversation, so you don't have to complete anything in the first 3 minutes, but take us in.
Okay, great. Well, it's so great to talk to you. I have to say, when my team mentioned to me that you would call, I dove right in and I started reading your book. And do you mind if I just ask you a personal question before we go into things?
Absolutely.
I'm fascinated by your approach, and I really want to know what inspired you to write your first book.
Well, you know, it all happened by accident. A friend of mine asked me, "Hey, Anil, can I do anything for you?" And I said, "No, man, it's okay." Then I asked him, "What do you do for a living?" He said, "Well, I help people write a book." And I thought, you know what? I've always wanted to write a book. And it just came by pure accident. And then I thought, okay, let's do it.
Pure accident?
Yeah, because normally I wouldn't have asked him, anything. I would have just said, no, don't worry about it. But something made me ask him a question. What do you do? And he told me something that really resonated with me from the back of my head.
Wow, fantastic. I was really intrigued to know, now that you really set up not just a book, but a mastermind and organization behind it, what inspired you to take it to the next level and write a second book?
Well, I've learned so much from the first book. I've got so many more ideas, thoughts, methodologies. I've grown so much from that place, and I've had a lot more experiences that I can share with the world that I didn't have at that time.
And what experiences are you going to be sharing in this next book?
Well, my experience meeting the Dalai Lama, playing tennis with Richard Branson, coaching Mike Tyson, and doing stupid stuff, speaking on stages of 10,000 people. I never even thought I could speak in front of 6 people. And if I can do it, I tell you, if I can do it, anybody else can do it. And, people just need that belief in themselves, and hopefully this book will help them.
What drove you to really just dive in and take all the time and effort it takes to do the second book? What was the thing that motivated you and drove you to finally take that step?
You want the truth?
Please.
My son's writing a book and I want to beat him to it.
All right. Anil, you have a call in about 20 seconds.
Okay. Hey man, I'll have to go in about 20 seconds.
Wonderful. I'd love to be able to set up a time, if that's okay, to be able to go in really strategy and how we can really promote your next book, knowing the foundation of where you're coming from now.
Do you really think you can help me?
We absolutely think you can help us. We can help you. Would next Wednesday at 3 o'clock work for you?
Let me check. Hold on. Yep, that's good.
Okay, great. We will call you then next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. You'll get an email confirmation from me as well, and we'll be in touch then.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
How'd that feel for you, Eric?
Good. It was an interesting conversation. It's really funny when you start asking personal questions. Just some of the things really intrigued me. I'll be honest, I kind of got caught up in your story when you mentioned, being on stage of 10,000 people and the Dalai Lama and all these things. And I'm like, what? I wasn't sure if you were serious or not, because this is role play. But if that's true, I definitely want to talk to you and get into it. I'd love to hear about that experience. Incredible.
Amazing. Amazing. Excellent job, Eric. And Anil, if you had one word for how that felt, how did it feel for you?
He was engaged.
Cool. All right. So, yes, our judges, our assessors, we're not judging Jake and Eric. We're judging the conversation, how it went. What was hey, Adam Gugino. We'll introduce Adam in a second. How expansive, connected was that? Like the openness of listening, something being at stake. Give about 30 to 45 seconds of feedback, please, judges each, limiting that amount of time. What worked well, first 15 to 20 seconds. What was a growth opportunity, second 15 to 20 seconds, and a score on a 1 to 10 scale. So, Jim, what do you have for Jake?
I have for Jake. Okay, I think Jake has really great energy. I noticed a couple points in which, Jake, you introduced your interest, where you might have cited a specific example from the book to really connect with Anil a little better. And you had an opportunity also with Anil to ask him, especially, is there a story you can share that is emblematic of your experience writing the book, or what you want to get out of the book, or how you want to promote the book? Overall, I thought it was very good. I really appreciated that follow-up question. You did that very well, very skillfully, I thought. So overall, I'll give you an 8.
Excellent. Thanks. And what'd you have for Eric?
Eric, very well, very warm, very welcoming. I felt it took you a little longer to get into the groove. You were in a groove, but you asked 3 different motivation questions. What motivated you to do this? What motivated you to do that? What motivated you to do this? And I never felt you got to where you wanted to be in terms of pitching to Anil what you could do for him. When he asked you, are you absolutely sure that you can help me? You certainly answered yes. You had to answer yes. We want to answer, we're yes energy people. And you might have given that what I'm hearing Sean talk about, a micro distinction, a quick why yes. Why my firm? Why me over anybody else? Kind of establish a distinction right there. So overall, I give Eric a 7.5.
All right, excellent. Thank you for your feedback, Jim. Bob, what'd you have for Jake?
Sounds great. I think Jake did an excellent job of understanding who his audience was and getting a give and take. You know, some people really like to talk about themselves, and writing a book is a very personal thing. And I think he got into that with Anil and let Anil really, you know, get into the deep, you know, his deep inner self as far as why and what he was doing. The only thing I would say is I would have liked to have known a little bit about what Jake was intending to do. You know, I really didn't hear that as far as, you know, exactly what he was going to do for Anil at all. So, you know, but it was more about qualifying Anil, letting Anil feeling good about, you know, about answering the questions and about, being into it. I think he did a very good job. I give him an 8.
Nice. And for Eric?
Eric also read Anil very, very well. He let him talk about himself and tell him about his experiences, maybe even a little bit more so. And I actually think Eric did a little better job of, letting him know what he's going to do for him. You know, I'm going to market you, and, you know, letting him know that, you know, what the next step is going to be. So I think Eric did a very good job. I give him an 8.5.
Beautiful. Thank you, Bob. And Barbara, what do you have for Jake?
Jake, I thought he was very genuine when he was speaking to Anil, and also he used the words that he was using when he mentioned manual, then he used that back. So that creates some sort of connection, I feel, because they're speaking the same language. And when he mentioned about the coconut, he's like, tell me about it. Like, there was a curiosity there, like to know more about what he meant. So I think that was good. I agree with, I know this is about creating the relationship, but maybe giving a little bit of hint on how you can help him would be valuable as well. But in general, I thought it was good. I gave you an 8.
Nice. And for Eric? Barbara?
And for Eric, the questions, it was like, it was about things that are important for Anil. So those are good questions. When you ask him why he wanted to write this book, what was the reason? And then he said, I'll be completely honest, it's because I want to beat my son. I think you could have used that as a chance to say, yeah, I'll make sure that we do that together. Like, that was like the why he wanted to do it. And you didn't like close it. I felt in the strong way that you could assure him, oh yeah, we'll make sure that happens for you. So that's why I gave you a 7. But it was good.
All right. Thank you, Barbara. Excellent work. Jake and Eric, I'll give some feedback and a couple thoughts after round 2. But as we walk into round 2, Jake, it is your call. Would you like to go first or second in round 2?
You know what? I'll go first.
Cool. All right. So all we're doing is it's a continuation of round 1 and furthering this. And here we're going to step into more of like who you are, what you can solve, as that pain that you've unlocked in round 1 If you want to explore that a bit more, certainly free to. The assessments will be about how you satisfy that pain, convey your heroic, unique identity so that Anil sees his future in you and that yes is in place. So please take us in.
Awesome. Ring, ring.
Hey, Jake, how are you?
I am excellent, Anil. How are you today?
Amazing, thank you.
Amazing. I love to hear that. So we talked last week about you expanding the reach of your manual, of getting those tools into the hands of the people that really need it, that you feel that it's important that that message gets out. I know we didn't talk much about what I was going to do, what my role could possibly be there. And I want to make sure I clarified that. So I'm a MAPS business coach. And what our mission is, we create sacred partnerships that bring out the best in us, that require the best in you. So that's what we do as coaches here. So when I say that to you, what do you think that means to you? How do you think that can help?
You know, I honestly don't know. I mean, how would it help to get my book out there?
Awesome, and that's exactly the question, is how it would help. So how it would help is you and I would be a partner. It's a sacred partnership, as far as I understand why it's important for you to get those tools out there, and that way we can sit down, we can strategize, and we can create a really honest way to make it get to the people that you truly feel that needs it. And there's an accountability piece there too, as partners in this, that I believe in your cause, and I'm not willing to let you settle for anything less than as far as you want to go with that. That's kind of the description of that. Does that help you?
I mean, what can you guarantee me?
So it's coaching. We can never guarantee results. We can guarantee the process. And as long as you're willing to put in the effort and be a partner with me, I can guarantee the process. And that process will create the results.
Okay. So one of my issues is that, you know, I get overwhelmed, and I don't want to get overwhelmed again.
Well, I can absolutely agree with that. So what specifically do you think overwhelms you?
You know, just I don't like deadlines.
Don't like deadlines, and you're an author, so that kind of could that kind of plays a little funny there, doesn't it? So so you say you don't like deadlines? Are you under one right now?
No, it's just that you know, if you tell me to do X by tomorrow, I tend to procrastinate. So maybe it's a procrastination issue.
That could be. So procrastination may be a thing. So maybe that's a little bit of a time management piece. Would that be accurate to say?
Yeah, I don't manage my time well.
Okay. If I could show you a way that we can manage your time and actually give you back some more time by just making you more productive, would that be worth having that relationship?
You know, if you could get me more productive, it would impact many areas of my life.
It would impact many years of your life. That's amazing. So, which would allow you to then impact more people to bring that manual and bring those tools to other people, right?
It would indeed. That would be amazing. If you can achieve that, you're a genius.
Well, we would achieve it together. That's our goal, and that's what we would do as a partners.
Okay, 30 seconds.
So Neil, I want to respect your time. I know you've got to jump on another call. Would you agree that we're working fairly well together and that we're better together than we are apart?
You know, I like what you're saying. You're listening to me, you're hearing me, and if you can get me more productive, it would be a miracle.
Well, let's go make miracles, and let's get that manual and the tools in the hands of the people that need it.
All right. Very nice work, Jake. If you had, Anil, one word for how that felt, that round, what would you share?
Yeah, I love that he played with me. I love that. You know, I'm a little bit of a prankster, but you know, there was a yin and a yang. I love that. Excellent.
And Jake, how'd that feel for you?
You know, it was the same thing. It was conversational. I mean, yes, I have an agenda, but it was still he was willing to play into the partnership piece, which is very important to me. And that's what's important, to work together in that. It's not just a sales piece. It's about becoming a partner and helping each other get to our mutual goals. So he was willing to play with that, and I appreciated it.
Awesome. All right, Eric, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, take us in.
All right, let's do it. Hey, Neil, thank you so much for taking my call again. It's good to talk to you again.
No, my pleasure entirely, Eric.
So I know we have a limited amount of time, and I want to just ask you one question. and knowing that our time is limited, what is the one burning question that you have that I can answer for you that would allow you to move forward with us in marketing your book?
I mean, what's your success rate?
Fantastic, thank you. Well, it's funny because we've actually had a lot of successes with the same category as in your book. And let me just give you a quick story. So we had an author come to us who had already published and his book was not selling well. And he hired us to not only market his book, but consult, because we had to really truly understand the audience that he was going towards. We had to understand the psychology of his audience. And what we realized through the research told us that there was one thing that needed to happen. Because marketing is about all the perceptions, not about all the products. And we realized that the perception that was created from the title of the book wasn't exactly in harmony with what we knew was important to his audience. So we changed the title of the book and immediately his sales went up by 82.5%. So what you see is you're not only getting a marketing program, but we start with research to make sure that everything that you have already done before we start publishing the book is correct. And then we identify your audience and really understand the psychology before anything is ever done, before your book is ever marketed in any way.
You know, that makes a lot of sense. My previous book was called Immediate Happiness, and I thought, who would not want to buy a book like that? So yeah, that makes sense.
And it's funny how consumers can define in their own way what immediate happiness is, right? You probably experienced that.
Well, I thought if they bought the book, I'd be immediately happy, but that didn't work.
Well, hopefully they were immediately happy when they bought the book.
Yeah, people who read it, and that's another issue, Eric, is that people buy the book, but they don't necessarily read it.
I understand how that could go. Do you think there's something that could be done differently in the marketing of this next book that would allow them to read it?
You know, maybe some pre and post marketing, maybe some extra resources that we could give them.
I think that's a fantastic idea. And in fact, a lot of the research will probably show that we need to prime them for the book to come. And then after that, we can have a much easier time when it actually launches to have a more successful launch. I'm confident that, I know that our time is limited, and I'm confident that because of our successes that we've had in the past, including the one that I just shared with you, that if we do this the right way and work together on creating a system to pre-promote and prime the audience, and also look at the fundamentals of your book and then launch, I'm very confident that we can have a success story as big, if not better, than the one that I just referred to.
Yeah, I like the idea of having a system. You know, once we have a system, we can tap into it very easily.
Wonderful. Do you have the time to be able to help us and help you develop a system and market this effectively?
Yeah,
15 seconds.
you know, that would work for me because I'm not really a systems guy. So if we can put something in place, then I can just fill in the blanks.
Fantastic. Well, the good news is you've come to the right place, because we are good at building systems, but we would definitely love your input. And that's something that we can put together, present to you. And if that's something that we can do for you, do you think that you would want to work with us and move forward on this project?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, we'll schedule another call and we'll get our team together, all together, and I'll have one onboarding call, and that'll take about 30 minutes of your time. And then from there, we'll go to the races and building the systems and building everything we need to market this effectively.
Fantastic. No, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Eric, nice work, sir. How'd that feel for you?
I think it felt good at the beginning. I think I got a little bit lost towards the end and exactly where to go with and engage him. But you know, I would say the beginning was decent and the end kind of fell apart a little bit.
Yeah, I listen, you got a lot of great stuff going on. Well, I'm going to drop in a minute. I was very impressed. Excellent. And Neil, how did that feel for you?
Yeah, energized. He energized with my mission.
Awesome. All right, let's take it to starting with Barbara. We'll go in reverse order. Barbara, what'd you have for Jake for starters?
Jake, we're starting with what's good, right? Yes. So
yeah,
there was one moment that you said, for me, that was the most powerful question that you asked, and said, if I can show you how to manage your time and for you to be more productive, would you do this? Then he said yes. That's when you got the yes from him. Because I believe also the closing was good. You finished with like, we'll make sure that we get this book to the most people, because that's part of his mission, to be able to spread that. So I think that was aligned with his mission. I found like your description in the beginning was very vague. I was even like, what is it that you do? Like I was a little lost there. And you asked him, how can I help you? He was like, I don't know. You know, so maybe if you would say, I can help you from this to this. Would you agree that would be important? I don't know, just finding something for you to answer yes, more than throwing that question out there. I thought was kind of vague. I think it was 6 for this one.
Okay, and what'd you have for Eric?
For Eric, I like that he used the excuse of having a time limitation to focus on what would be important for him. Like if there's one thing that you'd like to ask me. So then I felt that Anil was the one controlling the subject that they're going to talk about, not just Eric talking about what they do and things might not be so relevant for him. So it was, I thought that was a great question to ask in the beginning. And also he was hearing him when he mentioned about that he's not very good with systems, and like, yeah, we are very good at that, so we can help you with that. So whatever his weak point is, he assured that they could cover that. And for me, the only 2 things here that I took note that I think it can be improved. You said we have a lot of success, but he asked your success rate, and for me a lot, it doesn't tell me much. So maybe it would be, oh, you know, 90% of our people, or whatever, having a number that later you used for a different question, but for that one part. And when you mentioned that you had a client, you're talking about success stories, that you changed the title of the book and that made it sell more. I don't know, some people might be a little protective about the title they choose for the book. It's like their baby and they don't want to change the name of their baby. So maybe you can say we made small changes and this happened. I don't know. That would be new. Like, I don't know if I want to change the name.
Yeah, excellent. What'd you have for a score, Barbara?
Oh, I gave him an 8.
Very nice. Well, thank you, Barbara. Bob, what did you have for Jake?
You know, this is tough because you got such a short period of time to, you know, to get this done. And, you know, Jake has a really great skill. He's a generous conversationalist. You know, he really does a great job of asking questions and having a give and take. But at some point, you got to turn the conversation around to allow yourself to build credibility and, you know, talk about yourself a little bit. And I don't think you did. I don't think you got there. And I think you had an opportunity when, you know, when I think a couple times Anil said what's most important to him is he needs to be more productive. And, you know, that was your opportunity to step in and give examples of how you can help him in that area. And you didn't quite do it. You didn't quite turn that corner. You kept the conversation going back and forth. And like I said, at some point you have to turn it. So, but I think he did a great job, and he's got a gift of being a great conversationalist. I give him an 8.
Excellent. And for Eric?
Eric did a great job. But second half, he did, you know, he got right to it. He asked that very important question that allowed him to talk, you know, and that was important. So yes, you know, in the first half, he was a conversationalist. In the second half, he asked that important question. And Anil said, you know, he's got to be success. You know, what is success? He kind of, defined it, and it allowed Eric to talk about, you know, his credibility, about himself a little bit, and about what his business does. He really got to the crux of it. I think he did a very good job. I give him an 8.5.
Very nice. Thank you, Bob. Jim, what'd you have for Jake?
Yes. I like the way Jake sees where he's going. He knows where he's starting. He gets in and he does get to where he needs to go. So I love the fact that Jake, you have the vision of where you're going. Couple places that I think could be shored up a little bit. One is, and I have to agree with Barbara here, when you ask the client, could this help you? Or he's not going to know. You have to tell them how this is going to help you based on what they tell you they need. So presenting, I think, presenting a vision for Anil as to how your services can really expand what he wants to accomplish. At the end, you had an opportunity again to differentiate yourself when Anil asked you, what do you guarantee? What can you guarantee me? And you went really directly to what you can't guarantee. This is coaching, and we can't guarantee results, we can guarantee process. I would have much liked to have heard something like, I'll tell you what, this is coaching, the ball's in your court, Anil, but I can guarantee you this. And then use that to talk about your services and why you versus somebody else. So I like what you did. I'm going to give you an 8 on that.
Excellent. For Eric, Jim?
I love Eric's energy. Eric brings home the adage that they buy you, not the program, not the company. I love the energy. I love the fact where he got right into what he can offer. He was engaging Anil, I thought, in a very good way. He had answers for Anil immediately. What about your success rate? Boom, he had a story. And at first I thought, well, that story, you know, it's gone a little long. Anil wants to know what he can do for him, not what he did for another guy. But nonetheless, he brought it home ultimately and said that, okay, we'll have at least this much success, if not more. So I really liked that. I like the way he ended it. I like the way he said what we can achieve, you know, what we can achieve together, what his company can do. And yes, his company is the one that can serve him. That's another way, the way I look at it, to say, this is how we are differentiated. This is how we differentiate ourselves, and we can do the job. Are you ready to move forward? You know, I might have used what I call a Jack Canfield close, and it may not be really attributable to a Jack Canfield, but I like to do a soft close. In this case, might have been appropriate with Anil. Look, Anil, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you in terms of moving forward with me? Well, I'm at a 7. I'm at an 8. Great. What would it take to make it a 10? And kind of just close it right there. So I'm going to give Eric a 9. I'm going to give Eric a 9. I loved his approach. I would buy his services.
Excellent. Jim, thank you. Jim, Bob, and Barbara, awesome feedback. By the way, Jim, Jack Canfield is in this program and promotes our Unblinded Sales Mastery program. So thank you for that ability to drop that factoid in. Appreciate that very much. And Adam Gugino is here. He's a co-founder of Unblinded. Adam managed more than 100 million phone calls a year. What? 100 million phone calls. Took his prior company from $4 to $750 million over the course of 4 years, building a sales team from 0 to 500 people. Real story. Inc. 500 magazine, 3 years in a row. Adam Gugino, what's up, brother?
What's up, brother? How are you?
Good. Do you want to drop in for a quick 60 seconds, 30 seconds on each on what you
absolutely.
observed?
Yeah, and there was a lot of similarities. They had great certainty. Eric's variance of energies was amazing. I thought he did a great job there. I do think that they both could have put something at stake, more of something at stake, and I would have liked for both of them their heroic, unique identity, or when they had the opportunity to really convey the impact of their organization and what they can do. I would have liked a little bit more about themselves. But I did love the story that Eric told to kind of tie into everything. Overall, I thought they both did a really good job, Sean. I would say they were both in the 9s for sure.
Yeah, no, excellent. So real quickly, and we're going to take it home. We're going to do something for just a quick moment. What Adam's referring to is we have 4 steps, 10 indispensable elements, and 4 energies of integrity-based human influence. Obviously, this is an incredible amount of content. We're not dropping into all of it. But the first step is emotional rapport building. The second, which is part of round 1, the second part is putting something at stake, right? And at stake. Third, and this is like round 2, is we're conveying our heroic, unique identity, HUI. And fourth is agreement formation, right? What people call closing. You don't want me to close your mom. Don't want you to close my mom or me, right? So we talk about agreement formation, not closing. Words vibrate energetically. So when we talk about putting something at stake, create emotional rapport, we talk about this being 2/3 of our given time, 1/3 of our given time. So you have a 40-minute meeting, you're building rapport, putting something at stake for the first 40 minutes. Your 20 minutes would be the back end. If it's a 6-minute situation like this, the first 4 minutes really, like first half plus maybe a minute the second, would be emotional rapport building. And then the second half, 2 minutes, would be your heroic, unique identity, agreement formation. But watch the shift. I want to do something with Anil real quickly, right? And then we're going to wrap up. And thank you all for your amazingness. Anil, can we just do something for a couple minutes real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, by the way, thank you for being here. I know you're up to big things in the world. And I have a question. what prompted you to come on The Real Raw today?
I was asked, I'm on a mission to serve 1 billion people. And I've said to myself, if anyone asks me to speak, no matter where, I'll do it.
Amazing. So thank you for that, by the way, for your time, for your energy, for your brilliance. And so let me ask you this, though. Why do you want to impact 1 billion people? Like, what's underneath that?
I just made that number up because I was being significant. And I thought one day, Anil, you know what? You could actually do this. Let go of the ego and see how you can play. Make this a game. Why don't you do it? And I realized that, even 1 billion is a low number. Once you get on one stage, another stage, there are people that are impacting 4 or 5 billion people just by being on Facebook and YouTube. So it's all doable.
Yeah, amazing. And so I'm hearing the decision, I'm hearing it started like a made up number, and there's like gamification in it a little bit, but where's your heart on it? Like, so what if you don't impact 1 billion people? How much does that matter to you?
It's not the number, it's who I'm being. How do I show up? Am I aligned with that mission, purpose, and vision? And if I'm not aligned, I catch myself. So it's really not the number. It could be 2 million, 2 billion, 3 billion. It doesn't really matter. I just want to show up the best version of me.
Okay. And when you think about, Anil, thank you for that. When you think about showing up as the best version of you, what does that mean? Because I heard you say some interesting things today. I heard you say that, like deadlines, like not me, right? Like, I don't want to feel overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed easily. And there's no judgment, right? There's just curiosity. What is the best version of you? Is it without boundaries, without standards? Is it impact? Like how do you assess you, Anil, assess that best version of you?
My number one thing is helping people. I don't like paperwork. I don't like accounting. I don't like staff. I just want to speak and coach and guide and give. That's what I want to do. I don't want to worry about other stuff.
Okay. And what if you didn't have to worry about other stuff? And what if you shifted some of your associations? I'm exploring, right? Shifted some of your associations, and that exponentially increased the number of people you impacted. Would that be interesting to you or repelling to you?
It wouldn't be interesting to me. I would grab your hand. I would thank you from the bottom of my heart, because that's really what I want to do. And I get frustrated with systems, funnels, people, and all that stuff. If someone could take that away from me, I would be on fire.
Right. And so to be clear, right, because we deliver truth here, right? The mechanism by which that occurs is certainly by leveraging certain things to other people. But if you're going to maximize the impact you have on people, there's nobody who is going to lead that mission other than Anil Gupta. And so the choice, and it's a choice, there's like no judgment. The choice is like, what's that scale of impact versus where, I stay within my comfort zone and my associations. Because the key distinction I want to leave you with, and then ask you if you're interested in pursuing this conversation further. The key distinction, Anil, is this. You have a choice for what overwhelms you. You have a choice of what you gravitate towards. Now, I'll pause. Many people would say, like, we have a nature, a pull towards things, and I would agree with that. But temporarily, we can create any dynamic to associate in any way to things that furthers our impact and our mission. So what I'd love to offer to you is an exploratory conversation to see if that resonates and it's actually a reality. But the only way I'm interested is if you're interested in testing and challenging some of your perhaps limiting beliefs or false associations. Because I stand in the space of like not keeping people in their comfort zone, but also not being like, hey, work harder, jump higher. Like a real reframing of self-mastery, influence mastery, and process mastery to get people to what they want truly, their essence, their core. So how does that sound to you?
If you're willing to do that and have a conversation with me, I'd be game for it, because I've been looking for someone or something or some organization to work with that would enable me to do that. I would love that. Absolutely love that.
Okay, let's pause. So thank you, Anil. That was beautiful. Thank you for your courage and vulnerability. There's a bunch of things that happen. The whole formula is at play. We're not going to go into it all. But one thing that was present was I was standing on what's at stake. I did not step into, and this is for everybody listening out there as an offer, I call it never stepping into the frame of the other person if it isn't objectively true. So it's like, oh, so like, can you help me with your funnels? I'm like, yeah, where's that question coming from? You know, because that would presuppose that like helping you with your funnels would be an indispensable element of our relationship. So I'm not sure I agree with the framework of the question, right? So our two takeaways from what I'm sharing is, one, I wasn't stepping into the frame and presuming that Anil's comfort zones were unalterable and that they served his heart and soul, right? They may be, and they may serve his heart and soul. I'm just not clear if that's true or not yet. Did you feel that, Anil?
Yeah.
And so second, we'll have three things. Second is the certainty. Did you feel, now you may not agree with my framework, and my framework may not be what you would like, but did you feel my certainty in that framework? Yes or no, Anil?
It took me a while because I was trying to work out what you're actually saying, and I wanted to feel it here because that's where I feel things here. And then towards the end, I thought, wow, you know, he's getting it. He's really understanding me.
Right. And that process was exploratory to get to the truth. And a lot, you're like, I grab your hand. In that moment, there was a transition. Like, if you could do that, I grab your hand. So then we had access to your truth. And third, in that process, something was actually put at stake. There was a choice for Anil. Not a choice to like continue the conversation with me or not. That was the final choice. The first choice was putting something at stake, which was impact or like comfort zone. Like, where does that balance? Like, that was at stake. Did you feel the at stake-ness of that, Anil?
Yeah, I mean, I visualized lots of things all in one go happening, and impact. Yes, impact was the big thing.
Yeah. So all of that is what we're doing here, right? We're in truth, in integrity, heart-centeredness, building rapport, opening, listening, step one. That key second step is putting something at stake. Not what I want at stake. I don't care. I love Anil. I love everybody. So I don't particularly care what his choice is, as long as he's making an informed choice at step two with what's at stake. Because at stake is something, right? And that's for him, not for me. But my job, our job in communication, like if it's Barbara and their beautiful martial arts, if there's something at stake, if people say yes or no to open a facility with them and their brilliance, there's something at stake if a student comes in and says no. Like, it's not like grab them, force them, attachment. It's to like bring them present to the fact that there's a real like path differential in the choice about to be made. And that's step two at stake. Step three is where we convey who and what we are to solve it. Step four is our agreement. And quick thought at step three, it's not necessarily all about what we're saying in these short windows. What it's really about is how we're showing up and what we're saying in our framework, what we're conveying about our certainty, our heart, our love, our desire for truth, depth. All of those things are leading people to make decisions about wanting more connection with us or less on a scale, not a yes or no, like a scale of 1 to 10. And the higher we are up in that scale, the more massive differential we can create in the world. So thank you all. Barbara, how was today for you?
Great, Sean. Thank you so much. It was, they were amazing. And I can feel the great people. I'm grateful.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being here. Send my best to Sergio, and I really enjoyed you being here. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bob, how was today for you?
It was great. It was fun. A lot more relaxing being on this side of it than as a contestant, but you know, it was interesting.
Very cool. All right, Jim, how about yourself?
It was really great. It was really fun, Sean. And I'll tell you the truth, it was as stressful is a bad word. It was as challenging pushing me out of my comfort zone as being a contestant, because you never know what you're getting as a contestant, what you're really judging. And we're on the spot in that 30 seconds to pay attention, to listen, to take note, to formulate questions. So I felt as challenged as I'm sure Jake and Eric did, in order to come back with something that was valuable and articulate and that could serve them.
And the brilliance of being a judge, the beauty of it and brilliance, is stepping into leadership. And as you're a judge, like, you have a choice. Do I just like mail it in? Do I just say like, hey, great job? Would I really support people in unlocking some more of their superpower of influence? And that's what you guys did. So thank you. And that takes courage, attention, focus, and energy. So appreciate that. Great job.
One other thing, I'd like to say one other thing, Sean, because I shared this with Matt Ormond after the first call I was on. I really love your presentations. I love your framework. I said to Matt in a little message that this guy's brilliant. I love this guy. So I want you to know that I really appreciate how you are approaching what it is you're doing here. So thank you very much.
Brother, my life's work 23 years, because I believe that human suffering is lessened by us understanding how to support other people and hearing our ideas and accepting them and acting upon them and doing with integrity, and also knowing how to say no and when, where, and how, and why. You know, the same exact formula is how I discovered that Scott Rothstein was the largest Ponzi schemer in the history of Florida at $1 billion Ponzi scheme, and was able to say no when the former head of white collar crimes for the FBI, who's with us betting the deal, was saying yes. And my client would have lost $8 million of his and other people's money had he said yes. So it works both ways. So thank you for that very much.
Thank you.
Jake, how was today for you?
It was great, man. I'm really grateful to Bob and Barbara and Jim as judges for being so authentic and just genuine in feedback. I mean, that's how we grow. That's the stuff. And Anil, man, great role player today. Just wanted to have a longer conversation with you. I am truly excited about what you're doing and anything we can do to help you. And then Sean said something that just was absolutely brilliant in his presentation. We got to the end where he said, I'm only willing to have that conversation with you if you're willing to do this. So that was that. I wanted to crawl through the screen and be wanted at that point. So that was such a brilliant close. Thank you for that. That's going to take a pile of just work to get that integrated somewhere. That's so good. Yeah, really appreciate it. And Eric, man, rock star for being your first time on here. Great job, man. So good.
Yeah. And Jake, thank you. And the truth is, right, when we're leaning into an integrity, like, you know, and we're coming from a place of abundance and not scarcity in a sales process. I mean that. Like, it wasn't like, I'm only going to work with you if. It was like, hey, listen, I love you, but we're not going to be right for each other if. And just revealing that truth is integrous scarcity, non-attachment to the outcome. So thank you. Really, brother, you're brilliant and amazing at everything you've created. And I really appreciate that acknowledgement. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And Eric, how was today for you?
You know, it was a great introduction to the group. I actually had a good time. Anil, great to meet you as well. I've already followed you on Facebook, and I'm like, wow, this guy's a rock star. So when you're ready for your next book, Immediate Joy, which is the next step up from happiness, we're ready to go.
Yeah. Eric, thank you, brother. And Anil, final, how was this experience? And thank you so much for being the role player today.
You know, I've been a judge, I've been a contestant. Being the role player is so easy because everything I said today was true. I'm working on my second book. My son is working on a book. So everything is true, and it's such a beautiful thing. Hey, Sean, I agree what Jim says. You know, I just love the words and how you show up. I missed your event in January. Why don't you do an online event? I would love to see you in full flow.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one in the next 6 weeks. It's gonna be a one-dayer. And we're working the framework, and it's going to be the entire formula in one day. Not the whole success formula, but the influence mastery part in 1 8-hour day, back and forth in a groups, role playing, and we're working it out. So Anil, we're doing it. I'm really appreciative. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I just did a 3-day event with a large group of people. If you want my help and input, I'd be happy to give it to you.
Well, I'd be very appreciative. Thank you, brother. And yeah, we're here to all work together, co-create. It's all about influencing influencers to co-create magic, to make the world a greater place. It is Thankful Thursday. Adam Gugino, thank you. Awesome, brother. Vivian, as always, mwah, unbelievable every single day. Thankful Thursday, heading into Fun Friday. Everybody have a beautiful day. Thank you.